First off, I want to talk about that forgiveness is often something that makes us angry because we haven't really been around very many people, most of us, who know how to do forgiveness, apology, and ownership. So, for many of us, especially if we're highly sensitive, if we're empaths and we have soaked up a lot of dysfunction, our nervous systems activate in a moment of expected forgiveness. We don't quite know what to do with it. We haven't really witnessed people artfully move through that. So that's the first thing that I want you to consider in your own forgiveness journey. Who do you know that you think knows how to do forgiveness well? What have you witnessed? Okay. If you come from a passive aggressive vibe, there's going to be a lot there to untangle. Okay. So for me to be able to do forgiveness with my family of origin, okay. And if you don't know my story, the 2-second part of it is my mother basically married a known pedophile and basically handed us to him. Okay. I would say today I have forgiven her. For many, many, many years, I resisted that. I refused it. It made me angry. The reason that that is so for most of us and why we get pissed off at this spiritual idea when we see spiritual teachers say, you just need to forgive. Oh, you just need to forgive. I think that cheapens what forgiveness is. And in my own story, I would often say years ago, I don't want to give anything to my mother. I have given enough. I gave my childhood. She took it. And now I have to give her something else? Fuck that. It would make me irate and on fire. And I've witnessed very similar in client after client after client that comes from highly dysfunctional or cruel or cold or critical parenting. Now, some people's families have a lot of dysfunction, but they might also have a whole lot of warmth, a whole lot of kindness with times of chaos and dysfunction. Okay. So we're each going to hit our own sort of forgiveness struggles and journey with our family members, with our friends, with different people in the world, maybe with bosses and coworkers, partners, coming from lots of different dynamics. Okay. In Jackie's question, how do I forgive these friends that basically just ghosted, just disappeared without any sort of closure and answer? Okay. So I want you to consider that we have a human part and we have a spiritual part. Okay. My human part is the part that's more animalistic, that's more raw. Okay. In a lot of ways, my human part, I gave it permission that it didn't have to forgive anybody. I needed that to be able to actually get to forgiveness. Now, my spiritual part is the realm where I have done the forgiveness. Okay. And that may be a spot that a lot of you are in. Okay. Spiritually, okay, I forgive my mother for being a wildly inadequate and messy human being that's very, very lost. No one who is found hurts their children and then doesn't do the work to clean it up. We are all imperfect, messy, flawed, mistake-making creatures. Okay. That's a very hard thing for our human ego part to let go of. The truth is that many of us survived our childhoods by using anger to give permission to have boundaries. So sometimes what thwarts the forgiveness process is that we're in our anger to be able to give permission to distance. Many of us have not yet learned how to have boundaries without anger fueling them. Okay. So in Jackie's question, and I like to break these questions down word by word. I'm going to go right to her question. How do I forgive them? Okay. Without any sort of closure and answers. Okay. Part of the how is admitting to ourselves. Sit up a little higher. Is admitting to ourselves that we do know more than we want to admit. Okay. So the challenge that I have for you, Jackie, is to consider that you do know more. That when we go to this place of, I have absolutely no idea, I'm totally clueless about why this happened, we do ourselves a disservice and we frighten our inner child. Because my inner child is looking to me, especially in times of hurt and confusion. Right? So she's looking at me to go, Nikki, big Nikki, what's going on? And if I say, I have absolutely no idea, she doesn't have much to do with that other than to feel scared and panicked and out of control because the person in charge, grown up me, has no idea. Okay. So we want to start dealing with that lie. Now, I know Jackie's not trying to lie to herself. Okay? We all do this. I have no idea. Bullshit. You're a highly sensitive person. You have more idea than you give yourself credit for.